Welcome back to From the Source podcast. This is episode 41, and today we're going to be talking about alcohol and the relationship between fitness and achieving your fitness goals and working on training and running and things like that, but with alcohol. And we're going to be giving you kind of our opinion on where we're at with alcohol at the minute and training. And as we go in towards the Christmas period, the festive period, it's December now when this goes live, so we want to kind of talk about that as well. And sometimes it's hard to manage your festive, like socializing, drinking and eating with training. So we'll go into it by starting off with what's your relationship like with alcohol at the moment? Because we think we've touched on this months and months and months ago, and we kind of talked about how as we were getting older, we were slowly coming away from alcohol, but it was still there. But people fluctuate with like being sober for a bit and then, no, I'm into drinking. So where are you at now?
Probably where I've always been at in terms of just being an event drinker. It has to be for something. And then when we've been like training for Hyrox and stuff, wouldn't drink at all for that training block and have it like as a bit of a reward. Like I think most fitness people kind of do. But at the moment, it's still the same, just like drinking for events. I don't drink during the week, and like Friday or Saturdays if I go out.
Yeah, that's like me.
It's also dependent on who you're out with as well. I think that plays a big role. If you're out with mates that are drinkers, you end up not being like forced to drink, but it is peer pressure.
Yeah, that still exists. It doesn't matter how old you get.
Yeah.
People want you to drink with them in order for them to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I do think with drinking, it's hard. Like with alcohol, if you don't drink, people think that you can't have as good of a time. But there is an element of it where it's like, you can't actually, I don't think you can have as good of a time, because when I don't drink, I'm like, right, I'm ready for bed now.
Yeah.
But when I'm drunk, I'm like, let's
You can
go.
stay out till like 2 a.m, can't you? You
Yeah.
can stay out later. It's different.
But it depends on what you deem as good of a time. You know, like I actually love going to sleep and like getting up and going to the gym and I don't know, just like being fresh. That's a good time for me. And then I can also have a good time when I'm drinking with my mates or, you know, whatever. I can have a good time doing that. But I don't know, like they're different. And as I get older, I think when I'm out drinking, it gets to like, you know, midnight and I'm like, right, I need to go to bed now because I almost like have a switch in me that's like, I'm done now.
Yeah. And you end up, well, I know I do. I end up getting a bit moody because I know I want to go home. I know me staying out later now is actually going to really affect me the day after. So I'm just like, I want to go to bed.
Yeah, you start thinking about how you're going to feel in the morning, even though you're not feeling it yet.
Yeah. And I don't want to I'd rather leave the event like on a high. Like, I don't want everyone to feel like, oh, Killjoy over there wants to go home, he's moody.
Yeah.
And it's weird if people make you feel bad for leaving early or like not drinking.
Yeah.
And it's like, this week, I just don't want to do it. I've got other things on. I'm up early in the morning doing whatever, so I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, you see. So I went to an event, you know, like you said, you were only drinking at events. So I went to like some kind of like family event and I wasn't drinking. I was having them Lucky Saints. They're like a new IPA, 0%. It's actually like 0.5%, but pretty much zero in it. Like you wouldn't get pissed off there.
You'd have to have a lot. So
You'd have to have 50,000, you know, beers. But I had them. They were really nice. But that's not an ad.
No.
Lucky Saint. No. But I had them, and then one of my friends was like, "You're not gonna have as good a time. Like, why aren't you drinking?" And I was like, I'm just not drinking. I don't fancy it. And they were like, "You're not gonna have as good of a night though, and I want you to have a good time." And I was like, I am gonna have a really good time, but I'm gonna have a better time tomorrow than you are. And it's like sometimes with an event, you've got to work out, is the night that I'm drinking worth the hangover tomorrow?
Mm.
And sometimes it is. You know, like let's say it was your birthday and you were having like a party, and then you're like, I'm having a party. Do you want, do you want to come? And then I come and it's like we'd have had a great time. We'd have been drinking, it'd have been funny, it'd have been great. And then it's worth the hangover. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah, and especially if it's an event that you didn't really want to go to, or it's for people that you don't really know. And
Yeah.
you're like you're a plus one. It's like, oh, I don't want to get plastered.
But then
Because-
do you get plastered because you don't know anyone?
I mean, that's also a thing you think about, though, isn't it? Because you're like, I don't know anyone. If I get pretty drunk, I'll start talking to people, or people might want to talk to me because they don't know me, and maybe the time. It's all, I think, sometimes just about time going by. That's
Yeah.
what I'd do it for, just to get myself out of there. It is strange.
Do you know what? Sometimes you have a feeling, right? So normally it's like summer when the weather's nice, everyone's outside, everyone wants to do stuff, like they make plans. And a lot of the time in summer, it involves some element of alcohol. So when that happens, sometimes you get a feeling like, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have a,
Mm.
I'm just thinking like we went to the festival near where we live and we were drinking and it was like great. And you were just in that like buzzing mood.
Yeah.
And then when it's not that time and you're not feeling like that kind of buzzing mood, sometimes the idea of drinking just is like not appealing at all.
Yeah, and you end up drinking for the sake of it, and you're not really getting drunk, and you're not really enjoying it. So it's like, what's the point? I'm spending money, and I don't really want to do this.
That's another factor as well, is the money, because it's so expensive.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And if I went to a party the other week, like a family friend party, and I was just having 0%, and it was like £3. So I spent like maybe 12 quid on 4 beers, but there was 0%. But then like if you were drinking, it was like £6 a beer.
Mm.
Do you know? So you spent like 24 quid, and I spent 12. Like you spent double what I have.
But you're still spending 12 just to not be the guy drinking lemonades,
Yeah, true.
when you could have got like a 4-pack of lemonades for like
True.
£2.50.
True.
And that's just for image. It's just for it's a strange one. I end up drinking to get to like the merry phase, not like the blackout drunk phase. So I just think if you get to the blackout drunk phase, Sunday is a complete write-off, and we all don't get a lot of time off.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be in bed till 11, feeling like shit, walking downstairs, eating shit, not doing anything, not even like going for a walk.
Because you just got a banging headache and you feel grim and you're just
Yeah,
like tired and you're
Just
not
for the
slept.
sake of what? For an event or a night that you probably won't even remember next week.
Yeah, I think maybe it's an age thing or a maturity thing or just like different interests, but it's just not as appealing anymore.
I think it's a mixture of all of them, all of those that you just mentioned there. It's just
Yeah,
you end up-
combination.
you end up growing out of it, and you get different goals or priorities and stuff. And that's not me saying that anyone who drinks a shitload, I don't like you. It's just everyone's got different opinions. But I think now we live in a world where if you're going out with your mates, especially like a group of lads, and you're the one that says, "Oh, I'm driving" or "I'm drinking," you're immediately a pussy,
Yeah.
like straight out of the gate. So to not be a pussy, I've got to get blind drunk, leave my car.
But that's only because the mates that want to drink and do that, maybe quite more often than not, there's a reason why they're doing that. I reckon they're either unhappy, or they want to. Maybe they're single, or they're looking for like an escape. Like maybe they just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, that is an
I think
option. But
sometimes it's like a justification of like, oh, I can drink a shitload tonight because everyone else I'm with. But it is confidence. It's, life. People, when they're stressed or going through shit, people always go to drink. It's drink or drugs, isn't it?
yeah,
And people just, I don't know, like the people we hang about with, like at the gym and stuff, I think most of them are like social drinkers and stuff like that.
like rarities.
Yeah, like it's a wedding, a birthday,
Yeah, that's like me now.
An anniversary, like you would just do it.
And do you know what's good about that is like I'm the exact same as you, where I said I'm only drinking at events now. Like if it's worth it, I'll drink.
Yes.
And then it's all in your hands. Like you can now say, this is an event. Like if all my mates get together, I can be like, right, that's an event.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, if all my mates get together the following week, I can be like, no, it's not an event because, you know, we see each other quite a lot.
Yeah.
You can decide when you drink and nothing that anyone says impacts you. Do you know what I mean?
And you've got to be solid on that view and that opinion to be like, no, I'm just not doing it. I'll take your shit for a bit and watch you get pissed, and then I'll just leave. And you get a text in the morning like, oh, I'm rough. I'm really rough today. And I'm like, well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he was
Banging the drinks back, you doing shots and everything. It was only 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I think so. When you drink alcohol, it impacts our like personal lives and fitness lives and social lives the next day. So I think, right, alcohol now, I realize how much it affects my fitness. Like if I drink tonight and then I go to the gym tomorrow, that session is grim. And I don't know if it's because, like anything, when you step back and don't do something, and then you kind of see like the impact it's having. So like if you step away from like takeaways and then you have a takeaway, you feel how it impacts your stomach. Or like if you step away from alcohol and then you go back to it, you see how shit it makes you feel when you're in the gym. So I think like when we're into like fitness and health and like going to the gym and going running, now we are like, that alcohol is not worth it. Because like you said, you didn't drink on High Rocks. Like why didn't you drink?
Because I knew it would affect my training each session after I had a drink, which then would piss me off. And then when we actually come to do High Rocks, it wouldn't have been as good. And the whole time I was running around, I would have been like, could have gone out those weekends and got plastered.
Yeah,
and it soon adds up. You go out drinking. If I go out drinking Friday night and get plastered, Saturday training it wouldn't happen, or it would happen and it'd be horrendous. Sunday you don't get your long running because you've not eaten properly to even fuel that run. So even if you go out on that, that's crap. And then by Monday you feel all right-ish, and you start again.
Yeah.
So out of a 6-session week, you've actually 3 of them have been all right, and then 3 have been crap.
It's a catalyst, isn't it? Alcohol. So that you drink alcohol, that's the first step that you do. And then after that, it's like, right, I'm going to get a greasy takeaway, and then I'm not going to sleep as well. And then I'm not going to go to the gym. And then I'm going to be tired for the rest of the week. And then because I'm tired for the rest of the week, I'm now not going to go to my gym sessions that I'd planned to go to because I feel like shit, or because you nailed 10 tequilas.
Yeah. I mean,
on that Friday.
And me, when I go out and have a drink, I don't even get a takeaway because I think I don't want to get a takeaway because I'll feel it'll help me now, and it's what my body really wants to soak up the alcohol. But I feel like shit in the morning for eating it, so I don't have a takeaway. But then I've not had anything to eat, so I feel shit anyway. So either way, you can't win.
Yeah,
and it affects you regardless.
It's just like a conveyor belt. Like it's just going round and round and round.
Yeah.
So we drink the alcohol, get the takeaway, and you've got to basically, if the alcohol's worth it, throw a spanner in the works and be like, right, I'm not going to get the takeaway though. Like if I'm hungry at the end of the night, I will munch on some whatever I've got in the fridge that's not a Domino's pizza or a kebab.
Really fat. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can throw a spanner in the works that way, but you're still going to get your sleep affected, and you're still going to be tired, and you're not going to be as good in the gym or as good on the run as you would have been. But sometimes that's worth it. You know, like we've talked about before, because we're not high elite athletes, like most people are not, you can go and have a massive night out and get the takeaway and it's fine. But it's going to impact your goals. You
Yeah.
know, it's going to slow you down slightly. You're going to take 2 steps forward, but you're going to have 1 step back because of that. But you can still make that progress again, but it's harder.
Yeah, and it's about the balance. We're not high-end professional athletes, and I'm not saying like I'm gonna be like completely sober and not drink and have a somewhat of a life and miss out on events or be the buzzkill at events, but it definitely is like an event type drinking now. And if I go to an event and drink, and I'm like, that just wasn't worth it, and that's just killed me off for the weekend.
Yeah, and
Or
I think
it just annoys me.
when you do that, like, because it's an event, you can then, like, let's say you're going to a wedding, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna have a really good night. Like, my friends are gonna be there, family's gonna be there. I'm gonna drink, right? Then the next day, I'm not going gym. Like, I've written it off,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna enjoy the whole time, rather than worry like, oh God, I need to be up at 7. Like, I'm just gonna write it all off. But you can't do that every week or even every month. Like, out of 4 weeks in a month, if one of them weekends is dedicated to going out and getting smashed, like, you've only got 3 weekends to make progress instead of 4. Like, in a year, you've basically missed out on like 12 weekends.
12, yeah.
Like 12 weekends that you could have applied yourself and like made,
Or you
made
plan
big
it well and
progress.
you end up doing like double sessions during the week, but then you end up, that's still a knock-on effect because you end up killing yourself off in the week. And then by the time you get to the weekend, you're so knackered that you'll end up drinking more, your body doesn't recover as well, and you don't get enough sleep. And then you can never catch it up because that Monday you're going to be even more tired. So you can't really win.
No.
It's just
The only
about
thing
balance.
The only thing it's probably good for is, I guess in a way, it's good sometimes to have like a blowout. So like, let's say you've smashed your training, you've like eaten amazingly, and you've made loads of progress, and you've hit some goals that you've been really, really striving for, and you've been like training hard for, and you've hit your goals, you've got your PBs, and you're loving life, and you're doing really well. You've had time off drinking. I think like sometimes it might be like, tonight, like, let's go out and like let's have let's have a couple of bottles of wine, or like let's have loads of beers with your mates and go to the football and whatever, get smashed, and you'd enjoy that because you've been like, do you know what, I actually deserve this and I want to.
But there's been sometimes I've done that and I've gone out and like the drink just doesn't taste nice.
Yeah,
I've had it a few times. It just doesn't taste nice. You don't end up getting pissed. You just end up drinking for the sake of it. And it's like, I thought this would help me.
but it doesn't.
And
And
it's just
that's
like-
what I said before about when you refrain from something, especially something bad for you. Like alcohol really is poison. You know, like, without being like too extreme, alcohol, you have enough of it, it kills you.
Yeah,
It's
it is-
poison.
It's toxic, yeah.
But if you step back from it and then you go back to it, you'll quickly realize like how bad that is. You know, I think I said the other week, like, I had a Chinese takeaway like a couple of months ago now, and I'd not had one for a year or something, and oh my God, my stomach was like retching
Yeah.
because it was just all this ultra processed crap. But the same thing happens with alcohol. Like, I'll tell you what, the last time I did a shot was ages ago, you know, months and months and months ago, because when I have a shot, like alcohol shot, it sits in my system and I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be sick straight away. And it's not because I'm a lightweight, it's more because of the toxic kind of like,
And how strong it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the high percentage alcohol, like, you know, even pints, like I quite like having an IPA or like a nice beer or even like a Guinness or something like that. But you have enough of them, like, you feel grim.
And that's why I went on to drinking ales. I initially didn't like the taste of an ale from like the traditional lager because that's all my brain's been used to is just like fizzy lagers. Then I went on to the ales because loads of people were saying, well, I use the word healthy loosely, but it's full of more natural stuff than all the chemicals and shit that they pump into like Madri
Yeah, yeah.
and Stella and all that lot. So that's when I started going on to it, and it didn't give me the hangovers in the morning, and it didn't make me feel bloated, and I didn't feel like shit. And there also comes to a point where you actually can't drink that many ales in comparison to like lagers. So it helped me in that respect. So, and I'm now like a fully converted ale drinker because of that. I became slightly conscious of that, which is it's just weird. Which is like
I love that.
maturity.
He said, and now I'm a fully converted ale drinker.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's how I got into drinking.
yeah,
But yeah, you're right. Like there's things like, for example, like red wine. Yeah, you have a nice like glass of red wine. It's got loads of benefits.
yeah.
You know, like health benefits.
We all talk about red wine and dark chocolate.
Yeah, red wine, dark chocolate, like, but red wine is like, it's got the health benefits, but it's got the health negatives as well. And like, to get the benefits, you've got to have some negatives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like, a glass of red wine, like, it's not going to harm you. It's
when
quite
you're nicking,
nice.
like 4 bottles of red whilst being out for a lavish meal.
Yeah, you can just overdo drinking, and I think it makes you quite impulsive. You start making bad decisions. You know, like loads of people do stupid stuff when they're drunk that they would never have done when they're sober. But then it can impact your health, and like some people get like anxiety when they've had a drink, and then it knocks the confidence the next day because they're worried about what they said or did, and like sometimes it just doesn't outweigh like the night out that you've experienced doesn't outweigh the
But then
next
sometimes
morning.
for me, it's like you can't remember what the night out was. You can remember bits of it. It's like, is that really a good night? Is the goal to get so drunk you can't remember the night? And
For a lot of people,
you look at it on your phone the next day and we're like, oh, that was cool. Yeah, I'm glad I did that. I
Yeah.
can't remember it, but it's weird. It's like you wouldn't. I'm trying to think of like some analogy or something, but if you're like a BMW M5 or a performance car, like works on like super unleaded or whatever it is, that works on high performance stuff like a human, like a professional athlete. You can put unleaded in it and it still works. But like, why would a professional athlete like
But
put
not as
shit in
well,
their
yeah.
body as well?
Yeah,
You'd still be able to compete, but not as well.
yeah.
So you just got to be conscious about what you're putting in. You can't have 10 pints the night before and then expect to run a marathon the same pace,
Yeah.
like sober.
And do you know what's annoying about that is some people do that, right? Some people have like this thing about, oh yeah, I like went out last night, but I'll still turn up to my gym session.
Yeah.
But I always think like, imagine how good you'd be if you didn't do that. You know, like if you just did the gym.
And I think about that with like professional footballers of past, like George Best killed himself from like drinking, and he was an unbelievable footballer. And I'm like, Paul Gascoigne
Yeah.
drinks and drugs. How good would he have been if he was actually sober?
Yeah, exactly.
But that is all because of something else. He was probably trying to escape something else, and football was his outlet. But he had to drink to do it for confidence or whatever.
It's a weird,
It's mental.
it's a weird culture, especially in the UK. I think we've got like a bad relationship with alcohol.
Well, how much of a bad name do the Brits get abroad?
Yeah.
You go to Tenerife, like you go down certain parts of Tenerife, it's full of Irish bars, and you can literally see the English person from a mile off
Yeah.
in that bar,
Yeah.
blind drunk, £1 pints. They go over there, smash them back, like cause a riot, and
There's
then
a
just
weird
leave.
thing with alcohol where like when you have like one drink or two drinks, it's like very civilized, and it can actually like, if you're holding a glass of red wine at a meal, it makes you look a little bit like more civilized than you are.
Yeah.
Right. And then, because I'm just thinking like if we were out for a meal, right, and then I'm holding a glass of red wine and you're holding like a little lemonade, who looks more civilized? Me.
Well,
But
alright.
yeah, me. But as soon as I've had 5 glasses of red wine, now who's more civilized?
Yeah.
You. Because I get slowly more and more and more drunk, and that brings your, what's the word, like your energy or like your appearance like down. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, when you're sober in a bar or an event and you're sober and everyone's pissed and they're doing stuff because they're pissed, like dancing and being stupid. But you're sober, you look at them and you're like, fucking hell, like, this is what it's like.
Well, you look at them and think, am I like that when I have a drink?
Do you not think you look at people like, you look dumb as fuck?
Because sometimes when I've had like a proper skinful, you know, when you start talking, you're really conscious about like not trying to slur your words. But then when you're sober, listen to someone try to do that, you're like, you are still slurring your words.
Yeah.
Like your brain tricks you. You're like, oh no, I was fine last night. You're like, you're all over the place.
And when you're drunk and you're trying not to be drunk, but it doesn't matter because you're drunk, you still look drunk.
Yeah.
And when you're sober, you notice people like when you go to a party or you go to an event, you go to a wedding, you go to a bar, and you're sober, you look at people who are drunk and you just think like, I mean, not in a judgmental way. You're looking at people saying like, you look stupid. It's nice that people are just having fun, but it's more like when you're sober and you look at people, they have no idea how awful they look when they're drunk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't want to like judge people or like, we're not going to bars like analyzing people, but it's more like being drunk feels good, but it looks stupid,
And it's the balance though, because you can make yourself look really, really stupid. You might have like women you see fall over in heels or lads
and
you
lads
see stumble
fighting, the aggression comes out.
That's also a British thing. It has to be,
because you've watched the boxing and then all of a sudden now you're scrapping with some guy.
I've been to loads of like boxing events at like pubs and events and like stuff like that, and everyone's supporting a British guy. Like Anthony Joshua's fighting a foreign guy, and all the Brits are cheering for him, and they all get pissed, and then all the Brits start fighting with the other Brits. They don't start fighting with like the Ukrainians and stuff. They just start fighting with each other.
Yeah,
and it's the strangest thing. It's like, why are you laying into each other? Because you're drinking.
And the
You wouldn't
reason
have the
why
confidence.
Brits fight with Brits is because they're so pissed. Like it just you don't see people fighting in Tesco. Do you know what I mean? On a Monday morning, you never see a fight.
No.
But you go to a bar or a club mainly, because that's when you're more drunk, aren't you? You're in a bar, you're like, yeah, you're a bit tipsy, but you're in a club, like everyone's steaming, and I just think like that's when the fights break out.
It's so strange
because I don't know, like I don't know what it is.
Because would you ever think about like if you went to like a place that's got nightclubs during the day and you walk across the street, would you look at another guy sober and go, right, I'm going to go over there and punch him in the head?
Yeah.
You wouldn't. But when you had a drink, some guy could shout something at you and you'd storm straight over there.
You just whack him
in the face, start a massive fight and get locked up. And I wake up in the morning with a banging headache thinking, why did I do that?
Yeah.
And I'm done now.
Yeah, it's stupid. I think it's just like, it basically highlights that alcohol makes you make bad decisions. So if you cut the alcohol down or out altogether, your bad decisions like are minuscule now. Like you're not making bad decisions. You're not making bad food choices or, life choices.
It's a control thing. You have to be able to control it. And that goes for like using that for your fitness. Control what you do for your fitness, like your nutrition, like, be strict with yourself on when you want to train. It's that blend, but people use alcohol as that, like that out all the time.
Yeah. And that's why it's good now that it depends, like obviously like life's just what you see like on your day to day, but I see now on my feed and my real life, like more people having 0%. There's like 0% gin, 0% wine, 0% beer. Sometimes on like YouTube or TV, you will see like an advert for try this gin now in 0% too.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, that's like cool, I think, because now you can go out and it is for image, but like if I'm in a bar, I don't like lemonade. I don't drink like fizzy drinks and that. I'm an athlete. No, I just don't like stuff like that. It's too like sweet. But I'd happily have like a 0% beer, just so that I don't look out of place, but also because I do like the taste of beers.
I was going to say it's the flavour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because once you get past a certain stage of being drunk, you can't taste anything anyway.
No.
So you're just drinking because you want the alcohol part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the flavour of most things. So yeah, like a 0% like pale ale, like happy days.
And I reckon at Christmas time, like, I'd have like a beer and then a 0, and then maybe a beer and then a 0, and I'd be done. I've had 4 beers, but I've only had 2 because I've had 2 zeros, and
Yeah.
it's like I still get the nice like warm feeling of the alcohol, but I don't get the hangover and the downfall the next day.
Because I could just go out and watch the footy and just have a few beers spread out over the entire match and just leave.
Yeah, you could
Right.
sit with like I could sit with like a Guinness for like an hour
Yeah.
and just nurse it.
Or if you had, like you said, a nice bottle of red. You run out for a meal and you just got a bottle of red between the table, between 4 of you. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A
One
nice,
thing I couldn't do is get plastered whilst eating. That's a weird one.
yeah, you just get full.
Because I like the food too
Yeah,
much
you
and the
wanna-
flavours.
Yeah, exactly.
And you ruin it by just getting blind drunk.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people that maybe listen to this will be agreeing with us, and I think there'll be some people who still like enjoy going out and partying. And do you know what it is, right? Some people love going out and like dancing and like, we're into the gym, and some people might listen to this and be like, I actually love going out to clubs, and it's fine. That it's just I just think once you realize the effect that alcohol has on you, then you can start to be like, actually, yeah, it's pretty bad.
And for me, like, people do whatever you want, don't listen to us. But I think the thing that annoys me is the bit where you're judged by like having everyone's got their own thoughts. So it's like, right, I'm not drinking tonight. And then you're instantly judged for not drinking.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that like pisses me off.
Yeah. Imagine you flipped it and you was like, you're drinking, fucking hell.
Yeah.
What, you want to die when you're like 60?
Exactly. But everyone judges everyone. It's weird. Like, oh, you go to the gym all the time. Like, well, that's just what I like doing.
Yeah.
This is how I was born.
And then people judge the people that don't go to the gym. Like, what, you don't go to the gym at all? Like, what? You're not going to be, you're going to die. So
yeah. But it doesn't affect, if you were a massive gym goer and I wasn't, you going to the gym does not affect me.
It's all about your tribe though, innit? It's all about like, we connect with people who are like us.
Yeah.
And we want to be like other people. So, like, we do it all the time. Like, you might get some clothing item and I might be like, I like that. Like, I want to get that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to be like your friends and stuff like that. But
it's strange. It's like you all compete, like fitness people over here, drinkers over here, drunk people
and
over
that's
here.
why when you're in
You
your
all just
friendship
fight.
group, if we went to an event and I wasn't drinking and you were, you'd be like, oh, come on, have a drink.
Yeah.
Because you want to be like me. Or you want me to be like you. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those
I don't want to be like you.
But yeah, I think let us know if you're watching this still and you listening to this. Let us know what your thoughts are on alcohol. So just drop us a comment or send us a message about where you are at with alcohol. It's nice to hear from other people and what they are doing and what they are thinking as well as us. So,
and if any alcohol-free sponsorships want to sponsor us,
yeah,
then
hit us with the IPAs, hit us with the ales,
yeah,
hit us with the 0%. But if it's got alcohol in it, we will be smashing it up outside and not drinking it.
Good advertising though.
Yeah. Do you know, we on our next episode or one of the next episodes, we're going to be doing something with sports gels. I was thinking we could do like a little 0%.
Yeah, we can do a 0%
session.
Yeah.
But then we could do a non-0% session.
And the whole podcast is
It's like a 10-hour podcast. We take it to the club and everything.
Yeah. We'll do an Elite 15 watch along.
Yeah.
Whilst getting pissed.
smashed.
Yeah. At 9 a.m.
Drink every time Alpha, what's he called?
Alpha Tori.
Alpha Tori, yeah.
Yeah.
Drink every time Alpha Tori dropped back a place.
Yeah. He did better in this one.
Yeah, he did actually.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for listening. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you in the next one.